The little girl, teeth clenched and fists balled, moved quietly to the basement, seeking anonymity and hoping to draw no attention. She felt the tears streaming down her face and cursed her own weakness. She sat, distraught and filled with the anger that so lately accompanied the feelings of helplessness, wrapping her arms around her legs and letting out a few harsh sobs. Above, muffled but still clearly heard, rang the sounds of what in her life was an almost daily routine. A yell from her father, a cry from her mother, the occasional breaking dish or falling furniture. She gritted her teeth until she felt they would simply snap under the pressure. She bore a look no child's face should wear and begged someone, anyone, to save her. But no answer came. And so she sat alone in the dank, dark hiding place and listened to those terrible sounds. The sounds of lost hope and impending pain. The sounds of a man who was not much of a man at all and a woman too scared to run. A few moments passed, seeming to stretch into hours, days, years. And then, at the peak of the chaos happening just above her, she heard a voice from the shadows in front of her.
"Child, hear me now, for time is short."
She jumped, hands no longer wrapped around her knees but now clasped to her chest.
"Hello,"
she said in a small, tired voice.
"Who's there?"
"We've no time for introductions. I am a friend."
She squinted her eyes and struggled to make out the shape of the figure, but the darkness seemed nearly perfect. She forced her hands down and with much bravery asked the voice why it was here, in the basement of a run-down and neglected house in some no-name town in Ohio. For even for a child of no more than 5, she was well aware of her lot in life. Somewhere upstairs, there is a loud thud and her mother once more cries out in pain. But, for the first time in the little girl's life, these sounds seem unimportant and distant. As if she is far away from this hell she was birthed into. She spares the stairwell a quick glance before rapidly returning her attention to the voice in the shadows.
"Have you come to save us?"
The little girl tentatively murmured. The hope in her voice could have broken 1,000 hearts.
"I have come with a choice. But only for you, I'm afraid. Your mother is lost to choices of her own."
The child gazed into the darkness and let the tears spill over onto her cheeks. She absent-mindedly wiped them away with small, shaking hands. She loved her mother, with the unconditional, pure love that only children can manage. The thought of leaving her mother to the monster upstairs was intolerable. And a monster he was, far more than this voice from the shadows.
"What choice do I have? I can't change anything. I can't help. I'm too small."
Her tiny fist shook as she said this. For even though she had not yet even begun to form into the woman she may later be, she had grown up, oh yes. And the heart that beat within her was small, but within it was the battle cry of a warrior.
"This is true and much of the reason I am here. I can take you away from this, but know you may never return."
The little girl cried harder and bit her lip.
"And where will I go? Where will we go?"
"And where will I go? Where will we go?"
The girl felt her blood run cold. Her stomach dropped and she gasped at the stranger's words, knowing exactly what they meant.
"No, he always stops. He wouldn't hurt us. Not like that."
"But he will."
The cold finality of the voice chilled her, yet she sensed no malevolence.
"What can I do?"
she asked, defeated. She slumped back against the dirty wall and put her hands over her face, for she knew there was nothing she could do. The sounds upstairs had stopped. The silence was infinitely more heartbreaking to the little girl. But the silence was broken by the creak of the basement door and a boot on the first stair. She gasped and turned her wide eyes toward the sound. Her father's voice, booming and unrepentant, came barreling down the stairwell.
"Get your ass up here, girl."
She wrung her hands, fighting the obedience that had been literally beaten into her. The voice spoke again, saying,
We must go now, child, if you so choose it.
She stood, shaking and tear-streaked, and faced the shadow.
I'll go.
She hesitated for just a moment longer.
I love you, Mommy.
Come, my child.
She did. And when the police came the next day, shaking their heads at the tragedy, they find a man and woman dead. Though they search extensively, there is no trace of their child. But I think we would all like to believe. She did, in fact, find her peace. Thanks key_swing 6105.
So guys, that's the end of the story. All links to the story will be down in the description like last time. And so there's like a minute or two left in the video. So feel free to go ahead and watch the rest of it. It's just the finishing up of building this part of the map.